Okay, here's a quick video on free financial data in row 64. So to start off, I'm going to click on finance recipes. I'm going to pull up a single stock here, Apple, and I'm just going to grab all the data and go stick it into a finance chart. And so this is pretty cool. We have all kinds of options for modifying the details on here. And if we go and look at the analysis tab, we can change the technical analysis that we're doing on these, or we can change the looking at the volumes at the bottom. We have all kinds of options here to analyze a single stock. So the next step would be to analyze multiple stocks. So if we go in here and I run this, we're going to do a comparison of a whole ton of stocks, but this pulls up all the data, the close, everything. Or if I want to do kind of minimize the data, I can click on compare close here. And that'll just pull up these stocks. I can click chart, and here I'm going to do a line chart, and then that just shows me what's going on with the comparison. The other thing you may want to do is to do a relative comparison, like to see, especially when you do a comparison like Bitcoin versus, like if we do a comparison of, hold on, I'll pull this up over here. Go back to my data frame and say, I'm going to compare Bitcoin versus, I think Bitcoin is here. Yeah, so BTC USD, that's the symbol for Bitcoin. And so if we want to compare that with NVIDIA, if I do a ticker, which is going to be the compare close, then we're going to see it's different, that they don't really fit well together, and it's hard to do a comparison because they're not really in the same scale. So what we can do with that instead is go run the ticker here, that's transform. Go run the compare percent. And so if we run that, that's going to give us an additional column here where we're comparing their relative percent. So that's really good for just getting a sense of the what was a better investment, what compared to the growth of each other, what happened. So another area that's really interesting is just pulling up reference stuff. So you can pull up the whole index. These are going to pull up the index, and you see we put a little comment here. So this is showing you, just go look this up. Like if I want to see what indices I have available, I can just go and paste that in here. And this just gives me a list of the different codes that I can stick in there. And so the comments are also helpful here for all this free data. And if you look under the hood, all the free data is pulling these Python data, Pandas data reader. But this is a very powerful, great tool, but it's also very cranky. There's an enormous amount of things you can get, and there's all these like tricks and traps for paid APIs and stuff. And so we eliminate all of that. We just make this simple Python generator language. It's very similar to Excel formulas. You just type it in, and it generates, auto generates the Python code that performs your action. So we also have currencies, commodities, so they could get gold or producer prices. So producer prices are pulled off the Fed. So if we want to look at, for example, the unemployment rate, that's being pulled off the Federal Reserve. And so then we could start to do comparisons between financial data and economic data and test theses and figure things out. Use this power of the spreadsheet. So if we look here, this tells us where this Federal Reserve data comes from. So I'll go grab that and paste it in here. And there's tons and tons of data we have. So if we wanted to grab something like we want to look at inflation or the interest rates, I'll go grab that. So then the Fed funds effective rate. So you see that has a code in there. So I can type that in and then put it here and run it, and then we've immediately got, now I've got that DAFF code, and I can go take a quick look at it in a chart, and it's alive here. Now that we've got it in a spreadsheet, we have all the power of the analytical tools of row 64, which is great. And so and that also applies to the World Bank. So that's the final one I'd point out here. World Bank, you can get the GDP per capita, and it's just very easy. You can type in all these countries, right? These are the 2-letter country codes. And if I just grab that, look at a chart, very quickly I've been able to figure all these details out. And it's just so nice the way the language works. You can just go in and type and change it and modify from your list of countries or your date range and all these things. I hope you found this video helpful.